Hey everybody, welcome back. It's another 1510 game here on chess.com. I'm Keaton. Thanks for joining me. We're going to be playing Pain Absolute, a 910 rated player out of Paraguay that plays a d4 opening to start. And the Queen's Gambit. We'll go ahead and decline in this situation. Sometimes I like to go with the e6 move or the c6 move in those situations as well. But the martial defense is something I know. And they're going to try and open things. They're going to go with a e3 move here. Does block in that dark score bishop, which is why a lot of times I feel like people come and move their knight into the c3 square instead. And this does give me the opportunity to get this bishop out of the pawn structure, put a little pressure on that knight. And I believe that's what I'm going to do here. So we'll move to c5 with the bishop. Don't see any problems with that early on. Gives us a lot of control over the e4 square. 1, 2, 3 times. Does move that knight out now on the queen side. And this is where I'm going to move to e6, protecting this light score bishop that's outside the pawn structure, and gives another protection to my lead d5 pawn. He's got a couple attackers. I've got a few defenders now with my knight and my pawn. And goes ahead and moves out here. Now, this right now is the only defender of this c square. So I am considering taking, but now that I say that, of course, I see that the queen would just come straight in and protect that as well. Either way, though, I don't like taking with my... I don't like taking with this e-pawn, moving it out to this f square. I think that weakens my pawn structure. So I'm considering moving back. This is kind of one of those situations where I wish I would have moved the h-pawn so I can move it all the way back into a little cubby hole here. But I'm also thinking taking is not a bad move. Mostly because my pawns are all lined up on light scores, and his pawns are lined up on dark scores. So I feel like my dark score bishop is going to mean more than his light score bishop. I think that's my light score bishop isn't going to mean as much as his. So let's go ahead and take. Somewhat of an abnormal move there, I feel like. I was looking at pinning this knight here because I do feel like he's probably going to try and attack here pretty soon. So using an absolute pin with his queen, I think, is a good decision. Kind of two birds, one stone by using that dark score bishop as well, allowing my king to castle when I'd like. So let's go ahead and do that. Most likely we'll just retort with the d2 response. That's what he decides to do. think now, looking at a few candidate moves here, one being moving this knight into d4, attacking both of these pieces. Obviously, he could just take back. I could take, and then I can't take here. I'd have to take here right away. And then he could take back with this. So, talked myself out of that one. Let's, I think maybe completing my development, moving my knight into the c6 square, protecting this piece, and then maybe considering moving into the e4 square. Also, castle is not a terrible decision here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Get my final minor piece out for development. Hope you guys are doing well. I've enjoyed the engagement so far with everybody in the comments on Reddit. You can find me on Reddit at KMonier. You can find me on Twitter as well, KMonier Chess, if you would like to have a discussion about that. I was pretty thrilled that John Bartholomew liked my tweet the other day. I guess it was yesterday that he liked that. I was very, very happy. Thought it was pretty cool that he did that, and I'm just looking for honest engagement with people. And John's somebody that I really enjoy watching his videos, that Undefended Pieces series. I've mentioned it before, but it was one of the most helpful parts of my development, in my opinion, as a chess player. And I was happy to see that he did that. Good game so far. In a Queen's Gambit declined. Pretty common at this level to see Queen's Gambit declined games. A really nice for white here. They're completely developed. All they have to do is to complete that development, is to castle here, and then they'll connect those rooks. I still have to raise up my queen here for that to happen. Looking at moving this queen to d6, adding another defender here, and allowing for this to connect my rooks after I castle. But I am thinking maybe I just go ahead and castle right away. At one point, I was looking at moving in to my knight to e4. Is that something that's still a good an idea here? So let's say I go here, he takes here, I take back. Actually, I don't mind that because it's putting pressure on this piece. This is now defended. My bishop is now defended over here. Would like to castle, but he's not castled yet either. So maybe we go ahead and do that and not allow him to castle early. One of the reasons that this is a good sequence for white, though, is their control of the center, and they've got both of their center pawns left. I'm left with only one. They got rid of that c pawn to do that. So The Queen's Gambit is a great option if you're learning how to play. I like to play the Queen's Gambit as well. I found that when I'm in a slump, it's a great place to hold your hat on if you're struggling. Two defenders of this knight, but or two attackers, but also two defenders here. So not anything to worry about necessarily for white. But planning this here is nice, and they can't shoo me with their pawn anymore once they developed that knight in there. So I do kind of like that. Late night. I'm recording this around 10:30 here on Monday night. I'll probably post this Tuesday morning. Schedule it to be posted Tuesday sometime. So I'm just drinking water. So they attack there. This piece now, it was defended twice before, but then I moved this, so now my queen can move here to take that. I don't know that that was a good move. I'm wondering if there are any tricks, though, I'm missing. I'm also wondering if, for some reason, maybe I should take the bishop here first. No, they can take here if I do that. Let's go ahead and take, and hey, we'll see what happens, because I don't necessarily get that move, but I feel like there might be some sort of trick involved. I may get skewered. Always a possibility. So taking the dark score bishop, but I can take back, and it's going to be with tempo on that queen. So maybe a little bit of an oversight by Pain Absolute. So, Pain Absolute with what seems like a pretty darn good move right here. That they're going to pick up a pawn in kind of no matter what. Ah. Okay. So, I think I see that trick now. Interesting. Okay. So, what they did there, let's go move back a few moves just to show you this. So they pick up the pawn here by taking, forcing me to take with my queen. Then taking there, I take back. I'm up 2, but now let's say I go, if I was to go back here, they've got my queen, which would be a massive blunder. So if I go to protect my queen here, they can take here. I guess what I could do is just move my queen to b5, preventing castling and also protecting this piece. Okay, so I can do that. Maybe with the idea of shooing this piece out. Ooh, but if they do that, I can skewer. No. Yeah, well, they can just take with the queen here. It's not letting me draw. They can just take with the queen because it would be a check on the king. Wouldn't allow them to take here. They'd still be up that pawn. Neat move there. Feeling like this isn't totally great for me. Also, this now is left hanging because of that. And it's going to be at least 2 moves, really, before... I guess I could... no, if I move here, they take this piece. Yeah, this is a tough one. We'll see what White decides to do here. They're taking their time. I like that. No need to hurry in a 15-10 game like this. Interesting to move here. I guess the idea being that I move back here, they move here. Okay. What if... maybe it's time to lay that down. They take here. And then I lay a check in here. Okay. Might be that I lost that pawn, much to my dismay. Yeah, I'm thinking that pawn is gone because... yeah, I don't really see how this works out for me. Can't take. He could take back with this or this. Oh. Yeah. No, let's, oh, wow. That was... almost missed just going here. And there's no reason I can't do that. Also looking at, again, that double attack here, although it does allow him to castle now. So, yep, that's what they do. Probably very smart. Maybe we go ahead and do the same, because this is protected, so there's really no reason not to take the opportunity when it's there to just do the responsible thing, castle. Maybe look at this knight getting involved in the game, moving in here. Not a whole lot else it could do. I guess could go here to add some protection to the queen right there. So, guess again, something to keep in mind. They go out here with it. Threatening here, here. I never really understand making a move to the edge of the board, though. I do just kind of assume that they're just looking to move in here. Although, this for me, look what I can do. Hey, look at this, a skewer of the queen and this rook. Howdy, hey. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Very nice. Pain absolute. Kind of a painful move there. Sorry, pain absolute. So I'll go ahead and just take the rook. They go ahead and not take back. Seems a little crazy, right? I'm not seeing why they wouldn't take back in that situation. So, do we get this guy out? Is there anywhere they can go? Here, here, here that is beneficial to us? Not really. We're going to lose him eventually. So, I think maybe that's okay. Centralize a rook here, though. Just deciding which one to centralize. Because I feel like whichever one they do centralize, whichever way I go, if I go here, they're going to move here. And so maybe we go to the E file with our A-pawn rook. Right now they are looking here. They've got, oh, no, I'm protecting that. So we're good. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Because maybe I want to get this rook back to safety eventually. And also protect my queen at the same time. And if we force them to move this rook up, then we can be more safe in doing that, more secure in doing that. Yeah, let's go ahead, move to the E file. I'm not sure that that's the correct move here. They go ahead and do that anyways. That seems like a bad decision because I can just take here, look at this, and add another defender here. So overarchingly seems like a bad move. I don't quite understand that. But could be something I'm missing. No doubt about that. They move in there, but I'm looking at just going here now because I've got this rook defending here, and so the queen can come over and attack here. One thing to keep in mind, they could skewer the queen and the king, but I could move that rook back to take it, so not something to worry about. This piece then would be left hanging. That would be the only thing. Kind of okay with that. Yeah. I think that might be our best option at this point. And I lost on checkmate. There we go. And I got a little cocky, I guess. I didn't look at all their threats. Didn't see that they could just move in here and mate me. So, wow. Leading very heavily and made a blunderous mistake in the end. That's how they get you with the premium. I'm just kidding. One of these days I will get it. I feel like I subscribe to too many things. So let's go ahead and at least look at the lines and how we should have played this. I don't like just looking at the engines, but let's be self-critical of our game here. And so pretty simple Queen's Gambit to start, brought the knight out. I like the way we opened. Good development. Didn't mind taking there. Again, I felt like because I had my light score bishops, that light score bishop for him meant more than it did to me. The light score bishop wasn't going to control much because his pawns were lined up on the dark scores. Brought that out. What did they say was the best move there? So they say attack with c5. It's the best move, c6. But bishop b4 is the next move for black. So, not a bad move by any means, not a blunder or mistake. Maybe just a inaccuracy. And knight e2 is what they suggest. They go ahead and bring out the bishop. That also works. They say that I should castle here. I brought out my knight instead. And they take in that situation. I took back. Again, the fact that they have both of their middle pawns. But so far, everything's protected. All my minor pieces are out. I'm very close to being fully developed. That, I think, is where I made my mistake. And what do they say? Yeah, they say the best move that would actually move it into my favor would just be to castle in that situation. And that's what I was looking at doing. So a lot of times, the safest and most responsible thing is the best thing that you can do. And that's why you should do that. So I was able to kind of recover here, I feel like. But this is when I started leaving pieces, finding that a5 move was important. I castled. And going rook c1 to fork the queen. And the rook was what I wanted to do. Yeah. And I didn't feel like that was a very good move. But then right there, I'm up big time. So what do you do in this situation? They just say rook d4. Or sorry, what do they say? f6. Oh, okay. Yeah. So just block the king from coming in there. So didn't see the threat. Big part of getting better at chess early is seeing threats. I didn't see that. One of the problems when you castle is you find that you have a you do things like this. You don't have anywhere to go in a situation like this. So, the counterplay of white ends up rewarding them big time, even though I was way up in material. I take there, and there comes the mate. and they saw that from the beginning, and they tricked me. So disappointed that I didn't see it, but that's why I have this channel as well, is to show you guys that we all make these silly mistakes, and you know, the more we learn from them, maybe we can learn some of these things together, the better we'll be in the end. And so a little disappointed with the end result there, but that is kind of how things go. And so thanks again for tuning into the channel, everybody. You can find me on Reddit at KMonier. Find me on Twitter, KMonierChess. And thanks again for tuning in. And I'll see you next time. And have a good one, folks.